Hei og velkommen til webinar om NetConnect. Mitt navn Jande Khan, og jeg jobber som ISV-koordinator i Altså Cloud Marketplace. NetConnect sin filosofi at arbeid en aktivitet og ikke et sted, og derfor har de skapt en tjeneste som aktiverer nye måter å jobbe på. Ved å tilby sikker og enkel tilkobling til bedriftens nettverk, forvandler de ethvert aktivt miljø til et mobilt kontor. I dag har jeg med meg Xavier Simon fra Northbridge Secure, som skal fortelle oss litt mer om denne løsningen. So, Xavier, I'll just hand the word over to you.
Perfect. Thanks very much. Thanks, Yandi. Good morning, everyone. I apologize straight away. My Norwegian is non-existent, so I'm going to have to speak English. I hope it's all right with you. I do find that with people in the Nordics, it's fantastic. I love working with people in the Nordics because you actually do speak English, unlike most French people. I happen to be French myself. So good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining the webinar. I'm going to talk and present our secure remote access solution, NetConnect, today, and explaining some the value that this can bring to your customers. Feel free to ask questions in the chat box at any time. Feel free to jump in. And I've got a slide pack that I've got here that I'm going to loosely follow. It's really not death by PowerPoint, but it's really more of a way for me to make sure that I cover every point I want to cover. So a couple of words on who we are first. So the company is called Northbridge Secure. We're actually based in, so the head office is based in Australia, in Sydney. We've got offices all around the world, namely, so obviously all around Australia at the moment. Also got offices in Northern America and in Europe, where I myself am located. And I'm general manager for Northbridge Secure, so I run the entire organization from here in Europe. It just makes a lot more sense to be in Europe if you're trying to sell a product than than to be in Australia. And our main solution, our flagship solution, NetConnect, is really at the forefront of a number of solutions we have, or a number of market trends we can see at the moment. We're talking secure remote access, but we're also looking at mobility, bring your own device, all these new ways of working type of solutions that NetConnect can bring to life. So our global reach and our global footprint, we've got a bit over 150 partners at the moment around the world. We really have a global footprint with over 40,000 users, 40,000 end users using NetConnect right now. The majority of these end users obviously are based in Australia because it's our home country. The next largest territory would be Northern America, with a number of quite large customers in the US and Canada, and the third territory would be Europe. Generally speaking, Northern Europe being the emerging markets for us, with some recent really good success both in the UK and Netherlands. And we've recently we're right now expanding into Norway, where we've got some footprint at the moment, some customers, but the partnership with also is looking really good, and is for us a very good way to start reaching out to new partners. So what is NetConnect? I've got this slide, and I'll talk about it in the minute quickly, and then I'll jump onto a quick demo, just so things start gelling. Now, NetConnect is a gateway at the end of the day that is a software gateway that you run on the customer's network, and that will enable users to work outside the office or outside the network, using any device they want, and reaching out to all the data and all the applications that are stored within the network. Now, a couple of points before I jump onto the demo. NetConnect is not a cloud-based solution. It's in fact, I'm not host, so we don't host anything. I'm not in the business of hosting, and I don't want to get in the business of hosting. So each customer will run their own NetConnect gateway, and that's predominantly for security reasons. Your customer's data is far too important for me to have access to it. So there's and the other part is NetConnect can integrate into with cloud environments, so cloud-hosted servers. We're talking Azure, we're talking AWS, we're talking SoftLayer, we're talking any of these clouds, or it can integrate with existing live on-premise environments as well. So you can get onto any live environment, implement the NetConnect gateway, and turn your existing customer's network into a mobile network. Now, I'll jump straight into a demo, and I'll come back to this slide in a minute. So NetConnect, everything we do is web-based. We also have mobile apps that work on iOS and Android devices. I'll get back to these in a minute. But realistically, at the end of the day, our mobile apps are glorified browsers, and what they do is they take the same experience, but they enhance it and adapt it to what the local device can do. So when a user tries to connect to a NetConnect environment, and I'll be using my company, my day-to-day live work environment to do this demo here. When a user wants to connect to their work environment, they connect to their private, their company URL, their private NetConnect environment via web browser with their Active Directory username and password. We've got full integration here. We can also integrate with multi-factor authentication solutions. When I connect here, I get access to my mobile workspace. That's all the applications I would be using throughout the day. Now, we're talking applications in the broader term, in the broader sense. So we're talking, so to us, even a desktop, a simple desktop is an application. So if I try and click on desktop here, what happens is I get access still within the confines of my browser to what happens to be here a remote desktop hosted environment. This environment is fully working on Microsoft Azure. So the novelty of NetConnect is obviously the novelty of NetConnect is not the remote desktop environment. That's something that you partners have been doing for many, many years, and you understand and manage really well. The novelty of NetConnect is the ability to connect to these environments purely from the confines of from within the confines of a web browser or a mobile app. And the mobile app again is quite important. So obviously, once I'm connected to this server, I can do anything I would want to do. Still within, so from within my browser, I can also turn this into a full screen environment, so that I can do. So that I really don't even notice that I'm still working within browser. Now, nice and simple, nice and simple, and works for end users. Is extraordinarily simple to use, and makes it it's a very enjoyable experience for end users. Now, I'm demonstrating here connectivity to a remote desktop environment. We actually connect to far more far more environments in the backend. We can connect to application servers. We can publish desktops and Windows applications alike. We can connect into intranets. We can connect to physical desktops. So I can essentially turn NetConnect into a private PC anywhere type of solution, and enabling users to connect to their personal PC that they've left open at their desk, so that you don't need to run a remote desktop environment inside the network. You can also connect to just a small customer with two or three PCs can also use NetConnect for this sort of solution. We can also connect to Unix, Linux environments with a telnet or SSH client. Now, that realistically for most end users is completely useless. but is quite priceless for IT organizations, because what this means is that from the same solution, the NetConnect environment that you're deploying for your customers to connect to their environment, you as an IT administrator can also connect to their environment to manage all their routers and switches using the command line. And finally, you can also connect to file servers with a new feature coming up in the next couple of weeks that will enable you to turn your existing file server, your R drive or your T drive, every company has one, into your very own private Dropbox environment, so that no data gets to the cloud. The data remains within the confines of your network, but users can access this data and these files purely from their mobile app, from their remote PC, from etc. So the same level of access they would have if this data was in the cloud, but you retain full control of your data, full control of the environment, and you can select the data that is accessible remotely or not. So all in all, what does that? A couple of words on what this brings, on the features that this brings straight away. From what I've shown here, now all I'm doing here is purely from the confines of within the confines of a browser, as I mentioned. What this means straight away is two things. First of all, no actual company data is reaching my local device. I've got the only information that is reaching my hard drive here is just encrypted pictures of what's happening inside Azure, Microsoft Azure in that very case, so that my end device is completely irrelevant, and I can switch device and I get the same experience, and I can lose my device and not lose any data. This is very important, because then you really start segregating end user devices against company data, and end user devices can be anything, and the company data remains where it actually belongs, which is your internal network. The other point is the only connection that is really happening between my end user device and the network is a HTTP, in fact HTTPS connection, so that my device, and the connection is just purely from the browser to the NetConnect gateway, and then another connection takes place from the NetConnect gateway to the internal environment, so that my device here can be completely infected with malware, viruses, all these sort of things. None of these have the ability to actually jump into the network. The device my end user device has no actual access to the network, unlike what I would have if I was using a VPN. So really, at the end of the day, a truly new end user experience, something extraordinarily simple for end users, and something far more secure for IT organizations. One thing I haven't mentioned as well is that you can take this experience to the nth degree. So I'm showing here again the HTML5 experience because it's the most visual, it's the most enjoyable, it's the most etc. Now that's possibly something you may have seen with some of our competitors. We actually take things a few steps further. We also have within NetConnect, included with the license, if you so desire, we also have an actual VPN client. So you can enable users to an SSL VPN client. So you can enable users to use any device to connect via browser, and selected users can connect completely via an SSL VPN. So you've really got a full replacement of your remote connectivity environment. Now, what does this take us? So what does this bring really for our end users? We're talking enabling new ways of working. So you can enable users to work from home. You can enable users to work even within the office using the device of choice. Bring your own device. you can enable all these sort of things, and I'll show a couple of things a couple of amazing things you can do with mobile device in a minute. It's also very safe and secure by design. The NetConnect Gateway is a Linux-based appliance, but you don't need to know Linux because you actually never get to see the command line. It's completely packaged, but it's a Linux-based appliance, so it really will work will run on any sort of hardware or virtual environment, which is really the deployment of choice. And it really is secure. It really has been built as a secure appliance from the ground up. Finally, so it turns essentially your live environment, your live network, and again, you can implement this into a live network. You can get onto your customer's environment, deploy NetConnect, and the existing network becomes a mobile network. And it's also extraordinarily simple, quick and easy to install. The typical NetConnect deployment will take about 45 minutes to an hour, if that. So training on NetConnect is all video based. It's all YouTube based, and all the videos put together take about 45 minutes, and it's all lab based. So teaching you, okay, do this, click here, do that, download this thing, and click that button, and the whole integration happens in about 45 minutes to an hour. Something very simple to install. And that really requires essentially no management on an ongoing basis, or very little management on an ongoing basis. It's just there, and it just works. We love live demos. I've done the demo. How is NetConnect installed? So as I mentioned, NetConnect really is a Linux-based appliance, so it can be installed anywhere. 90% of our customers use virtual machines, either on premise or on cloud. Now we've got pre-installed Hyper-V, VMware images that you can download. So you don't even need to install it. You just download the pre-configured image and you run it. And it also runs on the cloud. So we've got pre-installed Azure and Amazon images that you can just use. We're on the Azure marketplace, and you can just download it and run it. Now, I'll get to licensing in a minute, but so in both cases, in all these cases, you download the environment and then you need to apply the licenses. So you'll still need to purchase the license from a fantastic partner like Also. And finally, we've also got some physical appliances that really are here for box-hugging customers that really absolutely do want to maintain a physical presence. But we've got fewer and fewer customers using that. A few words on the layers of security offered by NetConnect. So first of all, as I mentioned, there's no data stored on the end user device. So you can use any device you want, switch device, lose your device. The company data is not at stake at any point, and the data remains where it has to be and where it belongs, which is the corporate network. Obviously, everything we do is encrypted. Is SSL or TLS encrypted with the latest and highest level of encryption, SHA-256. Network protection, that's what I mentioned with the fact that your device has no ability, the end user device has no ability to reach out to the remote network, to the corporate network, so that your network remains protected from end user devices when your end users connect, which is very much not what you would have if you were using a traditional VPN that essentially connects the entire device onto the remote network, onto the corporate network, bringing any sort of malware and virus with it. Native multi-factor authentication integration. We integrate with all the standard ones. We're talking your secure ID, your RSA, your etc., including Azure multi-factor authentication. It's a very secure appliance that has been built with security in mind from the ground up, and full Active Directory integration, giving us role-based access control. So essentially, all your Active Directory security policies that you have created over time to make sure that the accounting guys can only access the accounting information but can't access the rest, etc., remain fully in place, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And finally, monitoring and reporting, all these sort of features that you would expect from a solution like NetConnect. For the 4 main use cases for NetConnect that we see out there, there's I'll probably go from the bottom up. So mobile device integration, so enabling users to work using their mobile device. That's of particular importance right now with our mobile apps and iPads. So we're just releasing this week a mouse for iPad, so that you can actually turn your iPad into a fully functional laptop, connecting to your work environment with a fully functional mouse, working within your NetConnect environment. So that's something that I don't think you would have seen from any of our competitors, and it really is a truly amazing experience where end users can start traveling now with purely an iPad with a Bluetooth keyboard and this mouse we're releasing, and they don't need to carry anything else. And we see more and more customers now using NetConnect to complete their mobile device deployment. We find customers had started deploying iPads, iPhones, Android tablets, and found themselves sort of stuck because all they could do was really read their emails and access their calendar. Now with NetConnect, they can start doing everything, and they can start doing everything in a very simple way, in a very simple manner, and carry with them the experience they had in the office. The second standard use case is the secure remote access. It's enabling users to work from home. It's enabling users to be mobile. It's enabling users to not have to carry their 25-kilo laptop with them anymore, but just work from home, just work from anywhere using any device they can pick up from anywhere. Third use case is the cloud migration or desktop as a service, and it's really, we see that a lot at the moment with Microsoft Azure, where we see customers deploying remote desktop servers on Microsoft Azure, deploying NetConnect in front of that remote desktop server, and all this environment integrates fully with Azure Active Directory. We've got full integration with Azure Active Directory, so that you can create your users in Office 365. They automatically pop up on NetConnect, and they're automatically created on your remote desktop server. Everything comes together, and you can use so you really have your fully working desktop environment on Microsoft Azure, as I just showed you a minute ago with our internal environment that is 100% hosted on Azure. And the last one is workplace standardization, new ways of working. That's something that's really an emerging use case for NetConnect, and is really brought forward at the moment with something that is quite new, which is the Samsung DeX. I'm not sure if you have seen the DeX, Samsung DeX solution before, but the DeX is this small device here. It's a device that was released by Samsung some time ago, about 6 to 8 months ago. And it's essentially a cradle for your phone, a docking station for your Samsung S8 or S9 phone. And what happens when you plug your phone onto the DeX unit? It brings your entire phone environment onto a large screen with keyboard and mouse. What we've done is we've worked with Samsung quite heavily to integrate NetConnect into this environment, and now the experience we're able to offer is an environment where users have at their desk no desktop, no laptop, no nothing. All they have is a DeX station with a keyboard and a mouse, and a screen. And when users get in the office, they take their phone out of their pocket, dock their phone onto the DeX station, and their working environment, their full NetConnect access, so their full access to their internal environment, to their Microsoft environment, pops up on their screen. and they can do anything. So they can work, they can do anything they would want to do. They need to go to a meeting, they unplug their phone, they're automatically disconnected from the screen, go to the meeting room, there's another deck station in the meeting room, slam it in, and they can keep working, their presentation is still there. They need to go to a customer site, they unplug their phone, and they get to they're automatically disconnected, and they can go to a customer site. It's really the future ways of working that is actually accessible and available today. Very impressive and extraordinarily empowering for end users. We see the integration, the full integration of the Android environment and the work environment working together, and you can be working on your spreadsheet within your NetConnect environment. You see a text message coming up. You receive a text message, it's just a pop-up coming up on your screen. You can reply using the same keyboard. You don't have to switch from your phone to your keyboard. You do everything from your workstation. It is truly empowering and worth playing with for quite some time to really fully understand the power of what we're doing. So really, we're talking here two different sets of experience. We've got the office environment that can be offered by NetConnect with your DEX units, your Samsung, your etc. Or you can have users still using their old laptops, and a mobile environment with your iPad, with the mouse, with etc. And the home working environment where users can just go home, open their PC in their PC in their main room, and start working using a simple web browser. All of these solutions come down to simply deploying a NetConnect environment within the customer's network. Something extraordinarily simple to deploy, and something extraordinarily empowering for end users. Finally, licensing, and that's probably going to be almost the last slide of my presentation, because I don't want to bore you to death with too many details, but I've got many very open to questions. So licensing options, it's very simple. We're talking monthly licenses. So price in euro is 11 euros per user per month. Forgot what it is in Norwegian. On the also marketplace, Yande, if you can help me with this one, that'd be great. On another point as well, in terms of licenses, we're talking, so there's no upper or lower limit in terms of end users. So we've got end users with so customers with one license, and we've got customers with thousands of licenses and thousands of users, and there's no minimum commitment in terms of number of licenses. The key difference is under 25 licenses, we're talking named users, so any user connecting to the system will need a license. And above licenses, you can start sharing these licenses, and they're concurrent licenses. Now, it's the same licenses, right? It's the same. They get the same. They provide the same level of access. It's just above 25 licenses, you can start sharing them amongst your users. And finally, the typical customers using NetConnect, we see in terms of customer size, for a start, NetConnect really applies. We've got customers across the board. We find NetConnect works really well and applies really well in the small to medium-sized customers. So we've got so I'd say in the 5 to 150 user base is where we seem to have the bulk of our customers. Again, there's no upper or lower limit in terms of number of licenses, and you can buy them by increments of 1. Where NetConnect works really well in terms of customer type, we see, so any customer with mobile users or sort of security conscious will really be interested, usually will be interested in NetConnect. We see really good traction in the healthcare industry and in the legal industry for a really good reason. All these people, particularly with GDPR just 21 days away now, really see the need to be able to to keep control of their data but still work remotely, and that's really what NetConnect is offering. Locking the data within the corporate network, but enabling remote access to that environment. Having said that, we've got customers in probably every type of industry at the moment. It's really a relatively broad solution. And that's probably what I wanted to say. We've got a partner program that we're offering as well for our partners, and the partner program brings you a number of benefits. We're talking internal use licenses. We'll give you licenses for you to use NetConnect internally. Access to proof of concept licenses will happily work with you to give you 30-day trial licenses for your customers to make sure that your customers get full access to the environment, so that they can test it and play with it, so they get a full environment or full feel for it. We'll also work with you to train you, help you, and help you with your customers. Again, training on NetConnect takes about 45 minutes to an hour, and deploying and installing NetConnect is very easy. It's all video based, and it's extraordinarily easy to follow. And the videos are updated on a regular basis. I think the latest batch was released about 20 days ago or something. So it's all up to date. And that's about it for me for the NetConnect presentation. I'll try and keep it short and sweet. There's 1,001 things that I haven't touched on because I wanted to keep it short. But I'm obviously available at any time for any discussion, conversation, presentation, showing you how to use NetConnect, working with you on deploying and giving you access to test environments. We've got a demo environment that is available 24/7 on netconnectdemo.com, where you can just go and play with it and test it and show it to your customers. And obviously, as I said, we're always here to work with you, and always happy to help. That's about it. Was there any question in the chat box, or feel free to come up with additional questions if you wanted?
Yes, if anyone has any questions, please write in the chat box. Thank you so much, Xavier. Did you have a question for me earlier?
Yes, I did. What's the pricing on the Norwegian marketplace? I forgot to take a note of that. Not in euros, but in Norwegian crown, I think.
Yeah, the reseller price is on 74.80 crowns.
Perfect. Okay, thanks.
Yes. I think we all see how the traditional office and workspaces are changing. More and more people are working outside the office and from home. And I think NetConnect really is a good service to maintain security for both the company and that individual.
Absolutely. That's really what we see a lot of out there. Interestingly, we have in Australia, a similar law to the GDPR has come into effect about around March, and we see this as a big driver. And even with throughout the rest of Europe, we see GDPR being a big driver as well for data security and compliance and all these sort of things. And NetConnect greatly helps in that regard.
Yeah. I can't see any questions. If anyone has any further questions, you can contact Xavier, or you can contact me. As I said, my name is Yanda Khan. Xavier, thank you so much for your presentation.
Not a problem. Thanks very much. Thanks everyone for attending.
Goodbye.
Thanks very much. Goodbye.